This one's pretty epic. We've got a pretty special guest. Adin, how you doing?
Man, I'm so mad at you. I'm so tired, bro. You made me pull a fucking all-nighter, bro.
Dude,
I'm exhausted.
you're acting as if you don't stay up this time all the time. Come on.
Yeah, I can talk to you. You ruined my life, you Australian. You gotta get to America, bro. You gotta get to America. Hold on, let me get my camera on 1 second.
Dude,
give me 1 second, hold on.
It doesn't matter if we were in the US or in bloody Europe or anywhere. You'd be up at like 6 a.m. no matter what. Actually, fuck, it's like 8:30 a.m., right?
Right now it is 9:40. 9:40 in the morning. I haven't slept. Almost been 24 hours. I woke up at like 1 p.m.
Dude, look at your room.
This is not my room. This is Convi's room. This is not my room.
I was
gonna say you've never gone to that much effort to get your shit together. I was like, fuck, what's wrong with you? This is crazy.
We're already gonna start with this bullshit. I'm tired. I'm cranky, and I'm about to, bro. The energy you put on, I'm about to match. I swear to God, bro. So,
hey, he looks good. Though. Wait, you staying with Convi right now?
Yeah, I sleep with him. We sleep in the same bed. We share the same bedroom.
Hey, fair enough. Hey, man, it's awesome to see you. I haven't seen your face in like a long time.
Yeah, man. You know, I'm trying to get live and shit, bro. There's stuff happening in the back end. We gotta fix. We gotta make right. I'm ready though, man. 2025 is my year.
when was the last? It's been a couple of months, right?
It's been a couple months, but we're gonna see something special hopefully the next few days.
Yeah.
We got planned. Yeah. I think we got some cool shit planned.
If you had to rank, like in terms of kind of like what you got planned upcoming these next weeks, like where's it sit? Because you've done some pretty insane comebacks. Like this, is it up there?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think you know what stream I'm talking about. I think that one is going to be a fucking hit. I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest I've ever done. So I'm excited, bro. I think we got some cool shit on the way. My first boxing event is going to be in January. Finally got that shit back, and I just got to get live, bro. We got to get live. We got to figure this out. And I'm ready, bro. Hey, bro. Look, kick is down right now. We got to pick it back up. We got to fix this shit. We got to change everything, bro. Come on, we got to get started with that.
What are we doing first, man? What are we doing first?
All right, well, look, I got questions for you guys that I came up with. All right?
Hey,
I'm for the people.
I tell you what.
I've
got a few real easy ones. Then I'll let you. You can go all at me. How's that sound?
Let's go.
All right. Fuck. Where should we start, man? I tell you what, we got so much to talk about. But I got to ask you one thing. I got to ask you the other thing. Obviously, I saw like all these people talking about their kind of rush. Their Mount Rushmore for like streamers and stuff, right? And I saw like X gave you like a shout out. I saw, to be fair, like everyone gave you a pretty honest shout out, which was really great to see. I don't know if you've answered this question already. Excuse me if you have, but who's your for? Who's your Rush Mount worth for streaming?
So my Rushmore is four, right? Not 5. It's 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
Is it 4 or 5? Okay. My actual 4, I'm gonna say Adin, Speed, Kai, and probably Ninja. To be honest, probably Ninja.
Dude, you can't put yourself though. Come on, you can't put yourself, can you?
I thought he was gonna do. I thought he did Adin. I thought he did Adin. When he did Adin, I thought he was gonna go Adin.
I think. But if I were to have a 5th, I'd have to put XQC in there. Like I'd have to. He's like, in my opinion, he's like the best fundamental streamer of all time that we've ever had. He could do anything and make it work with who he is. So
yeah,
that's my top 5 of all time.
I think it's a good. Yeah. I must say, obviously, yeah. Kai, Speed, yourself. Like I think when you kind of think of this like new generation of streaming that's like up and coming, like obviously those 3 names and Ninja, of course, right? Like pretty much shaping a lot of what streaming is today in terms of like, being such a huge personality. And then XQC, of course, these last 5 years is like absolutely dominated. So that's a good shout. That's a good shout. I think I pronounced that wrong, by the way. I'm not, yeah. It's Mount Rushmore, right? Not.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I fucked that up. Yeah. Yeah. That's like a big thing in the US, right? It's like a US attraction or something. Hey.
Dude, I don't even know where the fuck that's at. I swear to God, I don't know where that's at.
It's like North Dakota or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Shout to actual Mount Rushmore. I don't know where the fuck that's at. But I actually saw someone in your chat type that. And I want to actually make that known. Rice Gum is the real fucking goat. Like I feel like Rice Gum walked so everyone could run. Like, and I give him my flowers all the time and let him know how important he is for the entertainment space, because what he did, he took that shit to the next level, and that made other people like finally want to start doing what he was doing. He was bringing on porn stars. He was bringing on, before there was even a Twitch. It was like some like random fucking bullshit streaming site. He was finding those crossovers right before everybody else was. So Rice is also up there for me too.
What would you say that Rice was like a huge inspiration for you when you came into the game?
Yeah, and you know, when I moved in with him back in 2021, a few years back, he would constantly give me input and advice on like what to do in certain situations and kind of guide me through the bad times and the good times. And
hey,
he's a genius.
That 2021 era, right? Like you were in Los Angeles, right? Where you were in that house that had like the green curtain background. Like, what is that up there in one of your most memorable eras, or?
Oh, for sure. I don't think that's personally my best, but I definitely want to say that's one of probably like my top three. My personal favorite is when I came back the year after, and all my friends came with me. It just shows that, like, look, I could bring all me and my friends onto the camera together, and it's more natural, and I feel like it's way better. But look, bro, I have many more years left. I just gotta figure this shit out. We gotta just stay consistent. I don't want to be able to take breaks consistently where it's like fucking with the year, but it all comes down to a certain factors that I know for sure I need to cut out completely in order for me to be mentally stable for the entire year. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So that's the whole thing.
But like talking about highlights quickly before we move on, like this year, like it was only a little over a month ago that you had it was Dana White, right? In like the election speech. Was it Dana White? I think it was Dana White mentioning your name. Like, where does that rank? That was pretty fucking sick, right? Like, it's like you've got like a new president being announced, and you know your name's kind of alongside it as being kind of, you know, a part of that decision. Like, how did that feel? Like when you're watching that, like what was your reaction? Like that would have been like pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, I was sitting in my movie theater with my friends and family, and they looked over, they turned to me, and everyone got happy as fuck. And you know, I felt that feeling too. I was like, damn, this is surreal. But I think just seeing my parents be proud the most was probably like the biggest, like, the warmest feeling I felt probably from that moment, because that was huge. It was. So and again, they, you know, we're talking about it, running it back at the White House when, you know, after he's in there. So that's gonna be fucking sick too. You know, a lot of cool shit can come out of that as well. But that was a great moment. It was a great moment. Seriously, awesome.
There was that photo that came out quite recently as well. Not long after that, it was like you, Trump, Dana White, and Elon Musk at the UFC, right? Like, well, that was only like a few days later. Like, you must have felt pretty. You know, you're quite well connected at that point. Like, you've taken streaming to another level when you're getting shout outs at like an election speech. You're suddenly just like casually hanging out with you know Elon Musk. You've got Dana White there. You've got the you know the ex soon to be president. Like that's a pretty epic photo, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It was a great moment. Again, with my dad, I go to every UFC with my dad. It was a great moment, great father and son moment for us. Yeah, and, you know, I shook Elon's hand. I never told this story. I shook Elon's hand, and Elon is just, his mind is like spacing. Like, I feel like he's so smart. All his thoughts are just bouncing off of like a thought of a thought of a thought, and you could see it. So when I was like this close to Elon, I'm like, oh my god. He smiled at me. He shook my hand. You know, we have a lot of mutuals, him and I. So maybe one day me and Elon could do something really cool. I would love to. I think he's the man for the future. He wants to save the world, and I really love Elon Musk. I also think he saved the election too. He helped the election out big. He saved it, in my opinion. So I like him. I think Elon's great.
Man, the craziest thing is all this has happened since you last went live.
Yeah, I haven't been live in a minute. Missing it, bro. Going crazy. I want to go live. I have so much energy. I need to burst out and get back and all this stuff, bro. So I'm eager, man. I want to get live quick. So that's what I want to do.
Just like switching gears for just a second. Switching gears. So zooming out from like the, you know, the world of large scale fame that you've been existing in, and kind of coming to kick here. You know, it doesn't feel like long ago, right? That you and I were having some of the sort of preliminary discussions around, like, you know, what a new streaming platform could potentially look like. You know, I remember there was a few other people on the call. Like there was, you know, it was like this very, very vague idea, right? This vague idea that, hold on, is there a world where another streaming platform could exist? And you know, this would have been like September, I guess, 2022, I think, maybe October. You know, and I remember those times fondly. Like they were good times. They were good times. And you know, it leads me to this question that, you know, I think we discussed quite a bit back then with a few people on that call. You know, why does a place like Kick exist, in your opinion? You know, why should a place like Kick exist?
Well, look, and I'm gonna be honest, and this is kind of what I want to talk to you both about, because I feel like Kick, when it first came, obviously the motivation behind it was obviously the steak ban, but now it turned into something way more than that, and everyone knows it's real. I think basically when you have competition against the number one, like for example, Twitch is like the Nike of this shit. If you have competition with that, it kind of lights a fire under Twitch's ass and it lights a fire under Kick's ass to make both platforms better. So that's what I think it does. It makes the space bigger, it makes the space better, and it can potentially make everything way bigger together. Like, since Kick is a thing, it made Twitch better. You know what I mean? There's already things that people can call out that what Kick has done. It made Twitch have to basically react and do their own changes. Recently, I don't think what I just said. I think we were very, very strong on it. And my take is, I think Kick's we gotta tee up in some ways, in my opinion. I just see the longevity and things that I see what really matters. And I think that there's so much more we can do and make better. And look, it starts with me too. I'm not perfect. And also, like, it's one of these things. It's like, I also love Kick, and I came to Kick, and my community came, and my community.
Well, you didn't just come to Kick. You helped build Kick, right? Like you were on that kind of that kind of founding team, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and again, with a community like myself, they're very, very, they're very, very, engaging, right? So they help bring that shit. They literally help make that shit boom, right? No app. We came on. I'll never forget. We came on with no app. We came, we saw. Basically, it was just hella bugs the first day, but we made it work. And again, I still think Kick has been built from the ground up, and it's made it come so far that I wouldn't like to. I just wouldn't want to see Kick basically tumble to the ground. Personally, I wouldn't like to see that, and I know you guys wouldn't either. Right?
First and foremost, I agree with everything, but secondary, like, I think Kick's here to stay, right? Kick, I think, is something that is. I think it's. I've said this a heap of times, right? I like the live streaming industry and going up against someone so well established and so well respected, such as Twitch. It's hard. It's hard work. It ain't easy. It's not as easy as we ever thought. I'd say it's been a humbling experience for me personally. But on that same note, I don't think anything would ever stop us from getting in the way of giving this a red hot crack. It's such a rewarding industry. Probably for the same reason you stream and love streaming so much. I think just being involved in it. Me personally, I do one stream a week or whatever. But just being involved in the industry, getting close to whether it's creators like yourself or smaller creators who are up and coming. It's actually pretty epic. So, in whatever capacity, Kick will always exist. That's something I'm not worried about. But, can Kick be better? Can it be bigger? Can it be giving, the big players, YouTube and Twitch, a better run for their money? Of course it can. And I think, with that, obviously needs to be slight change in direction, slight change in how we operate, continuous learnings that come from just being in this industry a longer time. Because reality is we're still the new players on the block, and there's a lot to learn. And I think, you've given a lot of guidance as well and been a part of a lot of those decisions. So, I think it's, I think that there's still a lot more to be achieved. That's for sure.
Oh, no, for sure, bro. And again, I want to make it very clear. I think everyone can admit it. Like, this is not another mixer situation. I think what Kick's done in the past 2 years, no other platform could have done it, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, if you think about like when this thing started up, and you think about how long it took like other platforms like YouTube streaming and Twitch streaming, how long it took them to really get to where at. Like, it takes a long time, It does. And I'm very aware of that as well. I think people also have to understand, like, everything nowadays is kind of like, everyone's like, oh, well, fuck, like this one's doing this good. We got to look like what was the start date on these two, what's the difference on the date? So people don't give that credit as much, the flowers that, so I'll admit that, but Yeah, look, I think that kick is here to stay too. I just think that like little things, like I think the little things matter the most. And what I mean is when little things aren't basically happening, it becomes an issue. And I think that creates bigger problems on the platform. And I can give you guys an example that just came off the top of my head, if you guys want me to. Yeah. Is that cool? Okay. So a streamer like your age, he came on and he was asking for like one thing. He wanted channel points and he wanted, voting or polls, right? The right vote poll system. And I think he asked a long time for that. His community, they're very big on that. To be fair, I've known Josh a very long time, for years, and I know for a fact that like he's the type of person that it involves his community, like all these reactions and all these types of things. And I just know that he made it very, very like, very clear that he needed that feature in order for his chat to kind of be engaged. He wanted that feature. So that's an example that I could just think of off the top of my head. I can name more, but it's like I don't want to do that. I just want to show you guys like the small change could do so much for the platform. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I think channel points is one of many examples of features which are incredibly important. Obviously obviously it's not too far off being worked on. A few sort of hiccups in the road when it came to some of the development roadmaps, which have been frustrating, right? Frustrating for people like your age, incredibly frustrating for people like your age. But same note, incredibly frustrating for the people here working at Kick as well. We wish we'd have this out earlier. There's certain aspects to the development timeline which has been pushed back a bit, but are we working on it? Of course. Will it come out soon? Of course. And I always say this, right, Adin? It's once you do have, say, all those small things which are so important when they combine together, when all those small things are in place, the fundamentals of what's in place in terms of the platform, the mentality the platform has, the mentality of how we're operating it, I think that's going to position Kick in an incredibly strong way. Would you agree?
I do. I think if you guys have the best of the best products, and I think if you guys have the best of the best features, you have everything that basically makes you guys like, oh, we have this, we have that, we have this. And yeah, I do. I think then you guys will be able to be, in a better place for sure. 100%. 100%. So then tell us, Ed, tell the world. So when's this new product coming out? What are we thinking? What you want to, what are you thinking? Leak some shit, bro. Go ahead.
I can't leak. The thing is dates. I can't give dates out anymore. We made this like this new way of approaching stuff. Rather than saying like, hey, look, this is coming here, this is coming here, this is coming here, we're just like, all right, what? Rather than like setting timelines and then leaving us in a situation where we may have to rush something out and not have it up to par, we're kind of taking this quality approach. So I can't give you a timeline, but like, I think things are pretty close, right? In terms of we're talking about, whether it's channel points, whether we're talking about, variations to sort of bits or kicks as we call them, whether we call it, the new application, which I know is incredibly overdue, very overdue.
Hey,
this stuff's all very much moving. Date wise, I couldn't say, but is it close? Fuck yeah, very close.
Yeah, just to chime in really quick on that end, there's a different nuance I want to add to this, because what I'm hearing Adin say also is like when guys like your age talk, they need to be listened to, right? Or communicated with. Like, hey, like, I want channel points. Where on the priority list are we putting that when we're talking about that, right? And then communicating that back. I think a massive thing is that we got a couple devs in our chat right now, right? So they're hearing this, right? They're hearing this in real time, which is fantastic because in Australia, it's like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, right? So you got our team who's in here right now, who's taking this dead serious when they hear Adin Ross is coming on. So I think another nuance to this is that not just like delivering on the product, but like when our partners at that level start to speak, like what is our communication back with you guys, right? Like how do we roundtable this? How do we communicate back to you guys that this is going to take a little bit more time? That way you guys don't feel like I'm just not being listened to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. And again, like, the fact that devs are hearing everything and they're trying to just basically push it all on one update, like, I get it. I do. I think the best thing that you guys can, say is if you're actually doing it and you're listening, which I believe you guys are, and that's, I mean, like, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what, live streaming is. We're here to talk to the chat and they're going to just talk to us. And, that's kind of what the whole live streaming thing is. Right. So it's great.
Hey, Adin.
What you laughing at?
Yo,
Yeah.
what you take a few breaks, right? You come back like stronger, usually than ever. But when it comes to streaming, you've been doing it a while now, right? Like 5 years, 6 years. Like what truly motivates you? Like what genuinely motivates you when it comes to streaming? Like what actually makes you go like, hey, I want to do better? Like what gets you fired up?
Obviously money was my motive for a very long time. But I think now that I've realized that, like, no matter what, my family's good and I'm good. I feel like now it all matters about kind of creating, like, I look at it as like unlocking like new shit. So, like, for example, the stream that I'm hopefully doing, this week, I think it's new. It's fairly new. And I think that if I can find stuff that I genuinely enjoy and I genuinely love and I run with it, and I can be consistent and I can do what I want to do. There's one thing that fucks me up every time that I'm doing great. And no, motherfuckers, it's not lean, okay? It's not lean for real. It's when I gamble and lose a lot of fucking money. When I gamble, it gets to me. Like, it really does. So fuck up my whole motivation. I'm like, fuck. Like, now I want to hop on and do this, that. So it's like, and look, there's times where I'm like, fuck, I just want to go gamble, get my fucking money back and shit like that. But it's like, fuck. But I realize money is not my motive anymore. It's kind of just like seeing what other people are doing, seeing what other people in my space are doing, and be like, oh shit. So how do I do that in my own way, and how do I make something new out of it? Because at the end of the day, bro, I have to either find something like a goal or a motive, or I'm gonna be stuck in a fucking position where I'm like not doing shit. Which honestly, right now is kind of what I'm on. I'm ready to get back ASAP. Like, me not streaming makes me want to go live because I'm seeing all the other motherfuckers having fun. It's like that SpongeBob SquarePants meme where it shows him tucked away in the house and they're having fun outside. That's how I feel right now.
I think another thing, man, is I watch a lot of people who are taking the shit that you were doing a year and a half ago, right? They're taking your format and they continue to keep building on it, right? That's what I see in the market. Whenever I see, I'm not going to name names, but when I see other creators and other platforms doing things, I was like, shit, this guy was having like one-on-one basketball with Chris Brown like years ago, man. Like, this guy was doing crossover stuff years ago. This guy was having like this. You brought like this Jimmy Fallon late night talk show vibe, but without the corporate media slant where you're bringing on talent that you want to hang out with. You're seeing that exploding across, every top streamer that's out there. So when you see people like blatantly rip off your format, like, how does that make you feel? Where does your head go from there?
I wouldn't say it's ripping off. I would say it's more everyone kind of bouncing off each other's ideas. I mean, like, look, everybody at this, we're creators. We have to figure out, what works. And I think what works is when you cross over with celebrities and all these people who have their fan bases, and then their fan base makes your fan base, and then they boom, explode and have babies and have clips everywhere. That's the whole idea of it. So to answer that question, like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily ripping off. I would just say it's more like it makes the space bigger. And honestly, like, the one person again that I kind of bit off of too is Rice. Like, Rice is the OG. If you're looking at somebody who's crossing over with these people, that people, this people, he did it in a way where it wasn't big at the time, but Rice Gum is like the ultimate OG. And then you got Ninja. You got Ninja that did the Fortnite with Travis and Drake that one time and all these things. So what I'm trying to say is the space is going to continue to bounce off each other's ideas and form it into a new form of entertainment, which is streaming. And I think people are going to still run with that, and they're going to keep running with that. But I'm happy because I see other people's lives being changed from it. If I'm turning on and I see somebody doing a stream with this person, and I'm like, and someone's like, Aiden already did this, I'm like, that's so stupid and ignorant to think that, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, it's still getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't matter. I don't care if I want 100 people to do it. I want everyone to get rich and so they can take care of their families. I want everyone to grow their following so they can take care of their families and change their lives around. So I want everybody to take whatever I do, whatever anyone does, and I want everyone to just basically go along with that as well. Yeah.
So I got one more follow-up question to that. Like, you bring up Rice Gum, who's a great example of bringing on, talent that he wants to hang out with. How do you feel about like big companies like, let's say, Amazon, that might take this format and kind of taint it, right? Like bring on a talent to do a crossover guest appearance for like a big corporate, you know, advertiser that they might be. I'm trying real hard not to name names here, but like there's so many times where I see your format that's happening on other platforms. I'm like, holy shit, this is a DraftKings ad. This is a massive DraftKings ad. There's no way that this celebrity would be hanging out with this creator unless this relationship was there. So how do you keep from like media corporations totally tainting that vibe?
Well, look, like I said, I think like at the end of the day, it's if people want to, you know, get together for a cause, like you could look. I'd give an example. When I did something with Cardi, I paid for it, right? I paid for it. Me and Eddie had that conversation. It made sense. It made kick #1. It fucking went everywhere. It blew up everywhere. And Cardi would never hop on the fucking stream with me for free. Let's be real. He wouldn't have done it. So if it makes sense business-wise for people to collaborate with brands, and fuck it. I mean, it is what it is. Look, check this out. I'll tell you the truth about all this shit. This is how it is in my world. We're fucking streamers, bro. We're not anybody like, we're not on some like crazy like.
Hey, you still owe me that money for getting scammed by Cardi. You gonna pay me that back?
Fuck no, come get it in blood.
Don't be fucking
I'm
scammed,
kidding.
man. No,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. But look, check this out though. To go back on that, like, we're streamers at the end of the day, bro. It's like if we were at one point just in our mom or dad's crib playing video games or doing streams to now doing fucking DraftKings ads with I don't know, whatever the celebrity is. That's awesome. They're getting their money. They're meeting these people. They're making the content bigger. Fuck you. Let them do it. Because now streaming is getting so mainstream that it's becoming a corporate entertainment business. Now it's getting even more and more and more like corporate and more mainstream. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. That's a problem that I struggle with, though. I could try to clean up for some brands, but then I'll see something that I want to speak my mind on. I'm like, all right, I can't anymore. I got to fucking say some shit about this. And it's like I get baited. It's like I have no choice sometimes. It's just like, if I see some shit that really bothers me, or if I see some shit that I have to voice my opinion, I'm going to do it. So, but to go back to what you're saying, I think brand deal or not, collaborating is just making the whole space bigger and everything bigger. So, yeah.
It's pretty crazy though. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like with all these corporate brands getting involved, I think live streaming is on the up and up, right? Like it's just continuing to break barriers. Like I think live streamers nowadays are just like A-list celebrities almost. Like, 2, 3, 4 years ago, like that was not the case, and it's insane. But you talk about this changing landscape, Adin. I was meant to ask you, like, you've done this for like 5 odd years, right? And you've kind of like almost like somewhat like grown up with your community, right? Like how old were you when you were streaming? When you started, like 17?
So yeah, I first started streaming when I was like 16. Didn't work out, and then I started streaming like when I was like 18-ish. Yeah, 18,
but you kind of blew up just as you like, quote unquote became an adult, right? Like your community, those people who were there from the get-go have seen you kind of like, go through these early sort of ages of just entering that kind of real world. Throughout this journey, you as you kind of alluded to, like, you got to be careful what you say and stuff. If there's anything you could change, like if you go back like these few years, like, would there be anything you'd change, like in terms of how you've gone about things, in terms of how you've executed on it? Like, is there any regrets at all, or has it just been like, fuck it, go along with the flow?
The saddest thing I realized about being having a big heart in my space is that it's very hard to find someone genuine. It's very hard. I would say, I don't even know, bro. I think in the beginning I wanted to be best friends with everybody, and I wanted to kind of just be like everybody's like, I don't know. I just never saw streaming as like it being so serious and so deep into where it's an actual thing. I don't know. I feel like one thing I can say is I wish I enjoyed my come up more. And because I feel like going back on the come up and enjoying it and appreciating it, you'll feel better because you get those rewards, and you gain the rewards, and you're actually getting to like feel it again and see it again. So that, and I think number 2, just maybe not trusting everybody. I feel like, like I said, there's not a lot of genuine people to people. And I'll be real, I'm not genuine to a lot of people. That's just how the space works. It's a fucking business at the end of the day. It's like there's genuine relationships I have in this business, and then there's not. but most of them are fucking ingenuine. But look, most people in my life right now would not be friends with me if I didn't have my name and my money. It's just the truth. And I've accepted that, and that's okay. So I think to go back on what I'm saying, yeah, it's just like I think just maybe not trusting as much and maybe just being more grounded.